Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight, we will be featuring the case of Jodi Arias in the murder of Travis Alexander. But I didn't want to do this alone. So, who better? Well, actually, there's probably a lot of people better, let's be honest. But for this case, who better than Paul from the Paulcast, my co host on the Manson Saga discussion panel, to review the case with? So let's go ahead and bring him on. Hi, Paul.
Hello, Danny. Thank you for that riveting entrance.
I speak nothing but the truth.
Uh-huh. All right.
So this is a wild one.
Yeah, this talk about the crazy ex. This is the epitome of the crazy ex-girlfriend. And like every red flag in the entire world. I mean, I guess because Travis hadn't had that much experience as far as dating and he hadn't had too many crazy birds, but like, man, I mean, some of us have had the odd left to center date, I suppose, and you start to see little patterns. But man, she's like that to the 10th power. Just crazy. Crazy
So
stairs.
we will get into the crazy women that you have dated over on the after show. So yes, for everybody joining us live tonight, we'll be focusing strictly on the case tonight. And then in the after show, we'll hang out, we'll chill, we'll answer any questions or just chat about any comments from this case. Because Paul, I mean, this case has religion, it has sex, it has murder, it has everything. So
most stuff on here does involve murder. That's your whole shtick.
You know what? Your negative attitude is not warranted here. But
you asked for this. This is your fault.
All right, enough of this bullshit. Let's go ahead and find out more. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Jodi Ann Arias was born on July 9th, 1980 in Salinas, California. Her parents are Bill and Sandra D. Allen. Jodi is the oldest of 4 children. Jodi dropped out of high school and later obtained a GED. She left her home at 17 years old and worked a variety of jobs, including photography. She dated various men and even lived with a boyfriend of hers for some time. Jodi lived in different North Carolina cities for several years, then relocated to Southern California in mid-2000.
Was that the boyfriend? Was that Bobby? The Bobby boyfriend?
We're two paragraphs in and you're already questioning. You could just read the damn thing.
Every time I heard about the Bobby in the when I was like listening to the Jodi Arias books I listened to one about her as a biography and another one by the prosecution, which was interesting. But I always thought of Beausoleil and like just like Bobbies are just messing girls up left and right, getting girls acting crazy.
I just want to point out, so there are books from the prosecution and from the defense. So if you guys haven't read both, I would suggest reading both because those are pretty good books.
So Jodi met Travis Alexander at a prepaid legal service conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. Travis Victor Alexander was born on July 28th, 1977 in Riverside, California. His parents were Gary David Alexander and Pamela Elizabeth Morgan Alexander. And she was awful. Reading the books, you feel so bad for Travis growing up. That his parents were terrible. When Travis was born, his parents were very poor and both were drug addicts. His parents were extremely neglectful and abusive. He was also teased and bullied as a small child because he was a bit of a chonk when he was a kid. And that was the thing that he talked about being bullied for. Travis moved in with his grandmother when he was 11 years old. After his father's death in 1997, Travis's 7 other siblings were taken in by their grandmother. She would introduce them to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the Mormons. Travis immersed himself with the church, and his faith would become a huge part of his life.
Yep. Travis grew up to become a salesman for the multi-level marketing company Prepaid Legal Services. He also worked as a motivational speaker. It was at this Prepaid Legal Services conference in September 2006 that Travis and Jodi's chemistry was instant when they first met. November 26, 2006, Jodi was baptized into the Mormon faith by Travis. Well, that happened pretty quick.
Red flag. Yeah, sure, I'll become a Mormon. Yeah, tell me more about Joseph Smith. Speaking of cults, right? Like,
speaking of cults,
cow.
That's a beautiful shrine you have there, but let's get back to the topic at hand. As of February 2nd, 2007, Jodi and Travis were a couple.
Travis's friends would say how crazy Jodi would act around them. One time, Travis and a friend were talking in the bedroom behind a closed door. They opened the door and they found Jodi was there with her ear against the door listening. I remember reading about that and them saying how, like, she just looked like a different person when she got caught. She is a red flag number 2. We have so many red flags to go. Okay, so the relationship did not last very long as they broke up on June 29th, 2007. After the breakup, Jodi then moved to Mesa, Arizona to be closer to Travis. Travis's friends would later say she would break into his apartment and wait for him. And there's the third red flag. We're just blowing through them.
Well, actually, that's a third and fourth red flag in one. Moving to be closer to somebody that you just broke up with, and then also to break into their apartment to wait for them.
That being said, he was stringing her along pretty good the whole time. And they string along a crazy person and see what happens. You know, it's just so crazy.
I mean, I did that with you as my co-host, and that's why we have a very successful YouTube channel, the Manson Saga discussion panel. So it doesn't always turn out bad.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
All right, crazy pants. Let's go on with this.
All right, December 2007. Travis started dating a new girl. Her tires were slashed on at least 2 occasions. Travis, he knew it was Jodi, but he couldn't prove it. April 2008, Jodi moved to her grandparents' house in Eureka, California. May 28th, 2008, a burglary occurred at the home of Jodi's grandparents. A 25 caliber gun and other objects were taken. The grandparents' gun, however, was never recovered.
June 2008, Jodi had contacted ex-boyfriend Daryl Brewer repeatedly asking him to borrow 2 5-gallon gas cans for a trip to Arizona. June 2nd, 2008, Jodi rented a white Ford Focus near her residence. She told the budget rental car staff that she would only be driving the car locally, but then the car was returned on June 7th, 2008, and it had been driven about 2,800 miles.
Okay.
Travis missed an important conference call for work. Travis had a business trip scheduled in Cancun, Mexico, but no one could reach him. This was completely out of character for him. It's still me. It's funny because I keep reading these and I keep thinking of like more stuff to do with it. Like he's the business that he worked for and the motivational speaking and stuff, like that was his business. He started building that thing and it was a conference for that, how they met. And so he got Jodi into all that stuff and the church and everything. And the Cancun, Mexico trip he was supposed to be taking with somebody else.
Another girl, right? Yep.
Another girl.
And Jodi knew that.
Yeah, Jodi knew that. And she was like, I was fine with it. Fucking totally crazy. Jodi drove to Utah to meet up with a man named Ryan Burns. He stated that she had bandages on her hands and she wore long sleeves on the day when it was very hot. She told different stories of how she received the cuts to her hands. I don't know how it happened.
I'd like to just pose to the audience every time Paul does his Jodi Arias impersonation, take a shot of whatever beverage you would like.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And I just want to also say there are videos on YouTube of Travis's speeches that he's done for his motivational speaking. So they're out there for people to watch. He was really good because he was really personable and relatable. So if you guys haven't watched it, definitely check that out.
He'd gotten a big boost in confidence because he'd, like it said earlier, he was a bit of a chonk, but then he ended up working out a bunch, lost a bunch of weight, got better with women, and really dug the loopholes in the Mormon faith as far as getting jiggy with the females.
Did he? Well, let's find out more. June
Let's
9th.
go ahead and dive on in.
Really?
Okay, let's go.
June 9th, 2008. After Travis's friends and coworkers weren't able to reach him, they went to his home to check on him. His roommate said he was out of town, but after some searching, they found a key to Travis's master bedroom. When they entered, they noticed large pools of blood in the hallway leading to the master bathroom, where his body was discovered in the shower. They called 911 to notify authorities of the discovery. And you can hear that 911 call online, and it's so sad to hear his friends give that call. When the 911 operator asked if he was having issues with anyone, they immediately mentioned ex-girlfriend Jodi Arias, who had been stalking him. Jodi, well, she contacted police herself, stating she heard Travis had been killed. She said she was a friend of Travis's and wanted to help the investigators in any way she could. She also wanted to hear what the police knew.
It was really interesting, the police, like, that they talked to in the book that I read, how he just kind of, he strung her along as like, oh yeah, and didn't tell her right away that, like, all of Travis's friends were like, yeah, it was probably that fucking crazy chick who slashed all the tires. And just, man,
yeah,
I've humiliated myself plenty tonight. Thank you, James.
But it's not uncommon also, Paul, if you watch Danny After Dark, you'd actually know this, but for people who commit these crimes to try to insert themselves in the investigation. So they'll be the one to reach out to the police, almost like, I'm here to help, but really to find out how much the police know.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You can see them digging. There's lots of those, if people look on YouTube, there's lots of videos of people being interrogated and it being broken down by somebody who knows the interrogation process. And that's a really interesting thing to check out. But on with the show. Of course he gave me this fucking horrible stuff. Travis's throat had been cut and he'd been shot in the head and stabbed multiple times. It is estimated there are between 20 and 29 stab wounds. Travis's jugular vein, common carotid artery, and windpipe had been slashed. His hands also had defensive wounds. A spent .25 caliber round was located near one of the sinks in the master bathroom. Travis's digital camera was located in the downstairs washing machine. The camera was new, although images hadn't been deleted. Mesa police were able to recover the images. Although they had been deleted, sorry. Mesa police were able to recover the images. And there was blood in the hallway too, on the wall. Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead and dive on in. God.
The recovered images blew the case wide open. They included photos of Jodi and Travis, both in sexually suggestive poses at approximately 1:40 p.m. on June 4th, 2008. The last photo of Travis alive was in the shower, taken at 5:29 and 22nd p.m. on June 4th, 2008. Moments later, images appear of an individual believed to be Travis, profusely bleeding on the floor. a bloody palm print was located in the bathroom hallway, as Paul had suggested, which DNA revealed to be a mixture of Jodi and Travis's DNA.
Mm-hmm. Jodi was indicated by a grand jury. Indicted? Oh, sorry. Was indicted by a grand jury on first-degree murder charges on July 9th, 2008, and arrested at her grandparents' home on July 15th, 2008. She was extradited to Arizona on September 5th, 2008, where she pled not guilty on September 11th, 2008.
Now, Jodi gave 3 different accounts of her whereabouts. Regardless of the evidence, Jodi insisted that she had last seen Travis in April 2008. She originally told police that she had not been in the home at the time of Travis's death. She later told police that 2 intruders, in fact, ninjas specifically.
Intruders?
Did I just go Boston?
You just went full Boston. Or you were like, yeah, that was rad. That was the best part of this whole thing so far.
Oh my God.
Anyway, go
I'm
on.
from Boston. Intruders.
Get down with your bad self.
2 intruders, specifically ninjas, had broken into Travis's home and that they murdered him and attacked her. But for some reason, they let her go. Finally, she stated that she killed Travis, but in self-defense, and she was a victim of domestic violence. Can we just pause for a second? Ninjas?
Yeah. And what else did we say? Where's the Boston word that we went through? I want to get back to that. Intruders. There was these wicked smart intruders.
Yep.
No, it was
that were ninjas.
Yeah, ninjas. She was crazy. The amount of times she changed her story and the stuff she said with like a straight face was incredible. She is banana pancakes. She is way out to lunch. Just so crazy.
But the thought of
she parks a car at Harvard Yard.
The thought of these intruders or ninjas breaking in, killing Travis so horrifically, so personally, with that many stab wounds, that's a personal attack. But we'll get into that later.
And a ninja would not need to stab you that many times. It's a ninja. They would be like, and that'd be it.
Well, thank you for your expertise on that subject.
They'd climb a tree silently and get a
But they would let her go. Just let her go.
Right.
Where she could ID them.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
None of her arguments make any sense at all.
Well, speaking of things not making any sense at all, during her police interviews, when she was alone in the room, she would do headstands and sing. When told she was being booked for murder, she asked if she could fix herself, aka do her hair and makeup, for her mugshot photo. And if you guys want to see videos of her doing the headstand and singing in the interrogation room, again, it's all online, all on YouTube.
Well, and when she hears the door rattling, she like pretends to sleep and she's like, oh, I didn't see you there. She's visibly different with the male officers than with the female officers because she figures that she can manipulate the male officers.
Yep.
Which is really, you can't ID ninjas. That's true. Oh, man. So December 10th, 2012, the trial commenced and the jury selection began. January 2nd, 2013, opening arguments began. Prosecutor Juan Martinez sought the death penalty. Jodi was represented by appointed counsel Kirk Nurmi and Jennifer Wilmot, who argued that Travis's death was a justifiable homicide committed in self-defense. Ryan Burns testified that Jodi visited him in Utah on June 5th, 2008. She had cuts on her hands. The prosecution argued that since a .25 caliber round was found near Jodi's body, and a week before the gun of the same caliber went missing during the burglary of her grandparents' home, she had staged the burglary and used the gun to kill Travis. Don't you mean it was found near Travis's body?
Hmm?
Oh, we had it written down wrong. So let me rephrase that. The 25 caliber round was found near Travis's body, not Jodi's body.
Typo.
Typo. Yeah.
February 4th, 2013. Jodi took the stand in her own defense, testifying for a total of 18 days. She spoke of being violently abused by her parents beginning when she was approximately 7 years old. Her parents sat in horror in the courtroom upon hearing this, as it was, according to them, not true at all. To save their client's life, the defense tried to destroy the only thing left of Travis Alexander, his reputation. Jodi on the stand spoke of her and Travis's sex life. This included oral sex, vaginal sex, and anal sex. Although they kept their sex life secret due to his Mormon faith, a phone sex tape was played in court. Jodi stated that Travis was secretly attracted to young boys and she tried to help him with these urges.
Did you know that in the Mormon faith, anal sex is God's loophole?
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's the friction thing, so they let it soak.
Okay, that was a little more detailed than I think our audience was expecting. And I
Well,
was expecting.
I'm full of surprises. So just, you always got to be, I'm like a ninja. Hi-oh. Anyway,
Quickly, can I just say,
yeah.
again, if people want to listen to this, the audio is out there. You can find it online. Imagine not only just Jodi's family, Travis's family, his friends having to listen to this audio.
Oh, and it was just, oh my God. It's, it's something else when you listen to it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Anyway, sorry, I'm still on the loophole. Check out the song; it's really good. Jodi also stated that her relationship with Travis became increasingly physically and emotionally abusive. Jodi held up her left hand in the courtroom, showing her ring finger was crooked as proof. She's just like, look, I have a crooked finger. Travis did it. She just is lost in Jodi land for sure. Jodi stated that she killed Travis in self-defense after he became enraged following a day of sex, as most do. You know,
Who becomes enraged after a day of sex? My God,
I
people are
go to
doing it wrong
sleep.
if you're enraged.
I know you need to be tired. Go to bed. It's like pablum. It's like adult pablum. Like you have sex, yeah. That's it.
So Jodi, in the meantime, was doing television interviews and had said, quote, no jury is going to convict me because I am innocent. You can mark my words on that, end quote.
Right.
What a cocky little bitch.
That was so cocky.
Mm-hmm. During the prosecution interview of Jodi on the stand, Juan Martinez took a firm approach to questioning Jodi. Now, me and Paul will do a little bit of interacting and a little bit of role play, not the type Jodi and Travis did, but with Juan Martinez and Jodi Arias, with Paul being Juan Martinez, of course, and me being Jodi Arias. So
See, I think I should have been Jodi Arias because my impression is spot on.
then let's switch it.
I never do anything like that, Travis.
All right, we're going to switch it. I'm going to be Juan Martinez. Oh, man.
No, it wouldn't be. No, it's disrespectful.
All right, go ahead, Paul. Yours, Juan Martinez.
Okay. You say that you have memory problems, but it depends on the circumstances, right?
That's right.
What factors influence you having memory problems?
Usually, when men like you are screaming at me or grilling me, or someone like Travis doing the same.
Ma'am, were you crying when you were shooting him?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I'm going for an Emmy here.
yeah. The daytime YouTube Emmys. Were you crying when you were stabbing him?
I don't remember.
Fuck, you're making me laugh doing this. This is terrible. How about when you cut his throat? Were you crying then?
I don't remember. End scene.
Oh my God, that was awful. I think we really are terrible people. I think that's just kind of solidified it. Prosecutor Juan Martinez stated there is no evidence that he ever laid a hand on her. Nothing indicates that this is anything less than slaughter. There was no way to appease this woman who just wouldn't leave him alone. Truer words have never been spoken. He also, like, when you actually read the interaction or watch the videos of the interaction, he really hammers that thing home. He's like, you have selective memory. Can't remember this, but you can remember this. Can't remember this, but you can remember that. He was really good. He gave it to her. He was a really good prosecutor.
Mm-hmm. He was relentless.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So May 8th, 2013, Jodi was found guilty of first-degree murder. In a television interview minutes after the verdict was announced, Jodi said she'd prefer a death sentence. Quote, I said years ago that I'd rather get death than life, and that is still true today. I believe death is the ultimate freedom, so I'd rather just have my freedom as soon as I can get it, end quote.
May 15th, 2013, the aggravation phase of the trial started. The only witness was a medical examiner who performed the autopsy. Prosecutor Juan Martinez showed the photos of Travis's body and crime scene photos to the jury, then paused for 2 minutes of silence to illustrate how long he said it took for Alexander to die at Arias' hands. After less than 3 hours of consideration, the jury determined that Arias was eligible for the death penalty. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
May 16th, 2013, the penalty phase began when prosecutors called Travis's family members to offer victim impact statements in an effort to convince the jury that Jodi's crime warranted a death sentence.
May 21st, 2013, Jodi pleaded for a life sentence. She held up a white t-shirt with the word survivor written across it, telling the jurors that she would sell the clothing and donate all proceeds to the victims of domestic abuse. What a slap in the face.
She's
Travis
awful.
and his family.
Yeah, she's the worst.
May 23rd, 2013, the sentencing phase of Jodi's trial resulted in a hung jury, prompting the judge to declare a mistrial for that phase. And I've seen interviews with some of the jury members, and some of them feel that they let the family down. I mean, they just feel really horrible that they all couldn't come to a decision.
Well, they did. That's a talk about all the, like, who, I don't understand how that became a hung jury at all.
For the sentencing phase.
Yeah, not at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, in October 2014, a new jury was assembled for the penalty phase. They too did not reach a unanimous decision. This resulted in a hung jury as well.
Since the second jury was deadlocked in the penalty phase, the death penalty was taken off the table. I mean, so on the one hand, usually a lot of times people on death row just end up being there until they die of natural causes. It takes forever for somebody to be put to death. But at the same time, like, what's worse? A death sentence or life in prison? I'd say life in prison. The death looms, and it's like scary and everything, but to have to live out, to know that you're not going anywhere and you just have to live in that prison for the rest of your natural life, I'd say that's a hardcore punishment.
Yeah.
Anyway, April 13th, 2015, a judge sentenced Jodi to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Crazy Pants is going to be in prison forever. Thank goodness.
March 24th, 2020, the Arizona Court of Appeals upheld Jodi's murder conviction and life sentence in the 2008 killing of her ex-boyfriend, rejecting her assertions that she was denied a fair trial.
Isn't it assertions?
Assertions. Did I say assertions?
Assertions, yeah. She was definitely giving up the assertion for sure. That was 100% happening.
Oh, man. So that is the case of Jodi Arias in the murder of Travis Alexander. Wild one.
Yeah. And I definitely, if any of you are interested in this stuff, I'd say go and watch the videos of the court stuff. Go and watch her being questioned in the interrogation room. It's all crazy. It's all that's all I can. That's the best word I can think of for it. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the trial too, you can find video online of the trial. You can see when Juan Martinez just goes after her. You can see I think I did a pretty good reenactment performance, but you can see her version of it. You can see when she's basically throwing Travis under the bus. I mean, there's so much in this case. And if you, unfortunately, I know me and Paul talked about this when we were researching this case, but unfortunately for Travis and for his family, the photos of his murder, I mean, they're online. They're graphic and they're gruesome.
I didn't go look at them. I only saw the little bits that they showed on the story because that's not my jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for sticking around for another episode of Danny After Dark. And thank you, I think, to Paul from the Paulcast for joining me. It's certainly, it takes a little bit of the pressure off because this was a pretty gruesome and violent case. So we got to at least have a little bit of a breather with just going back and forth with each other on this. But all right, so we will be back. Sorry, go ahead, Paul. Is that?
I was just going to say, I'm really glad to have been able to talk about the craziest chick I've ever heard of with the craziest chick I know. Right? And we'll see you all at the after show.
I'd like to make an announcement. Paul is never welcome back on this channel. So anyway, so thank you everybody for sticking around. Do you have any questions or comments on this case? Not just leave it down below, but also me and Paul will be going over to another video on my channel. We're going to be doing a live, just a quick little after show to interact with you guys, talk about any comments you have on this case, any questions. Just hang back a little bit after this. So stick around and just remember, everybody, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye.